First, it was forcing people to pay for Ivy League educations for kids, or people that hadn't gone to school, they have to pay for the educations of people that have gone to school. Then it was raising taxes on every income level. Now this, it keeps going on and on. It's big government at its absolute worst, disincentivizing responsibility and good decision making by taking more money out of people's pockets. That is the direction of the Biden administration. Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a great week. As always, I've got some updates on what has happened in Washington, D.C. Today, I've got more information on the debt ceiling, combating illegal immigration, and a very stupid proposal to punish homeowners with good credit versus individuals with not so good credit. So let's get into some of this. So last week, reports surfaced about a new rule from the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Probably most people have never heard of the agency, but they're the agency that oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So to recap, if you have a mortgage backed by Fannie or Freddie, as the majority of Americans do, you paid a fee up front, and that fee was based upon the kind of credit score that you had. So if you had a credit score of over 740, you paid a smaller fee than somebody with a lower credit score or a worse credit profile. So what's taking place right now is that agency, in an effort to redistribute the way that mortgages are distributed across the country, they're going to take some of that fee that was tacked on to people with lower credit scores, and they're going to take it off the lower credit score borrowers, and they're going to move it to the higher credit score borrowers. And that's essentially what's happening. This is ridiculous, and it's quite frankly, it's un-American. Once again, the Biden administration, they're determined to punish hard work in this country. First, it was forcing people to pay for Ivy League educations for kids, or people that hadn't gone to school, they have to pay for the educations of people that have gone to school. Then it was raising taxes on every income level. Now this, it keeps going on and on. It's big government at its absolute worst, disincentivizing responsibility and good decision making by taking more money out of people's pockets. That is the direction of the Biden administration. So that's why I co-sponsored a bill that would void this insane rule and make sure that it does not go into effect. It's called the Responsible Borrower Protection Act. Very straightforward name. It was introduced this week, and as it works its way through the House of Representatives, I will keep you all updated every step of the way. Now I want to switch gears. This week in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, we held a markup on 4 pieces of legislation. Most importantly, a bill to force the Secretary of State to take a more active role in our nation's immigration crisis. Since President Biden was sworn in, there have been more than 5 million encounters at the southern border. Hundreds of thousands of pounds of fentanyl that have been seized pouring across our border. 80 individuals at least on the terror watch list have tried to cross our border in the last 6 months alone. It is a crisis. There's no other way to say this. And the Biden administration undoubtedly making it worse. The so-called border czar, Kamala Harris, has done absolutely nothing to address the problem. The extent of her diplomatic efforts has been telling migrants, don't come, and telling Americans that what we need to do to combat this is to take your tax dollars and say, well, we need to send those tax dollars to Guatemala. We need to send them to Mexico. We need to send them to other countries. And if we send your tax money to some other country, that'll stop what's happening. That's not the truth. That's why we debated this bill to authorize the Secretary of State to negotiate regional immigration agreements with countries like Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala. Now, there's no magic bullet when it comes to combating illegal immigration. We need to secure our border. We need to enforce the rule of law. We need to hold other countries accountable for their role in this crisis. That's what this bill is about. I'm glad to see that it passed the committee, and I'm going to look forward to seeing it pass the House of Representatives, the Senate, make its way to the president's desk. Finally, on the House floor this week, we considered a bill. It almost sounds like a cannabis bill to me. It's called the Limit, Save, and Grow Act, and it's a bill about cutting spending in order to have any raising of the debt ceiling to pay our country's debts. Now, we talked about this last week. Let's recap a bit. President Biden, Democrats in Congress, They do not want to talk about federal spending, about cutting federal spending. They just want to raise the debt ceiling and increase it to keep the United States from defaulting on our national debt. Republicans, myself included, believe it's crucial that we get at the root cause of this problem, and that is Washington's spending problem. It's happened under Republicans and Democrats, undoubtedly. That's why we voted this week on the Limit, Save, and Grow Act. This bill would save roughly $4.8 trillion in federal spending. That is a big win. It needs to happen. It will limit discretionary spending over the next 10 years by decreasing spending to FY 2022 levels, fiscal year 2022 levels. It's going to save taxpayer money by repealing some of the worst policies this administration has put forward, like the student loan bailout, $500 billion, not authorized through Congress. The administration just did it. Your tax dollars to pay back student loans, or $200 million for Nancy Pelosi's favorite park, or go out there and get rid of the 87,000 new IRS workers, or claw back money that was appropriated for COVID spending that hasn't been spent yet. Let's bring that stuff back. And it will grow the American economy by unleashing energy production from sea to shining sea and strengthening the job market by repealing one of the worst pieces of policy ever, something they called the Inflation Reduction Act, which destroys American energy production for the future of the United States of America. You can't grow our economy without growing American energy. This bill is far from the final product that will actually become law. That leads me to the next major problem. It's been almost 3 months since President Biden has agreed to talk to Speaker McCarthy about the debt-limited spending. There's been no world in which Leader Schumer and President Biden are going to take this bill as is, which means there has to be a negotiation. And that can't happen unless the president is willing to sit down with Speaker McCarthy. Republicans have made our position clear. The House majority is not going to be forced into mortgaging our kids, my kids, your kids' future in order to pay for far left spending sprees like those things that I just listed. Now the president needs to come to the table so that we can get this done. Again, far from over. Stay tuned. I'll keep you updated on every single bit of this. As always, it is an honor to represent you. I hope that you all have an excellent weekend. I look forward to seeing you all around town. You all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.